My name is Thomas. See this Grim Reaper? I'm gonna tell you about my prison experiences. A couple of really, really good ones. Gruesome. So, when I did my first sentence, let me back that up. Let me give you how it goes down when you get to prison. So you get off what we call the Bluebird bus, and they strip all your clothes down. So you're with a whole bunch of men, butt naked, next to each other. There's no room. You're arm to arm or tip to tip, whatever. So you get off, you line up, you strip down, and they come screaming like boot camp. Yelling obscenities, spitting, throwing, kicking people. And
And this is the jail guards, the prison guards you're
these are
talking
the
about.
prison guards, right? So the first thing they tell you when you get off that bus is leave that jailhouse mentality. This is prison. We don't put up with that nonsense here. We will kill you. So automatically right off rip, you got it. They put the fear right in you. Some of them are pretty stupid. They don't understand it, which is the story I'm about to tell you about. One comes off the bus right next to me. Obviously, that's my luck. Um, Looked at a female guard and whistled at her, like the worst thing you could do. And
Looked at a female guard and whistled at her.
yeah. So she proceeds to walk up to him and kick him right in his nuts. Well, he falls over. The guards see him and the female kick that dude, so they pull out their can of Mace, which is otherwise known as Black Jesus. The reason why they call it Black Jesus is because it's a big black can, and when you get sprayed, you're like, oh, Jesus, oh my God, it burns. So we call it Black Jesus.
Very
They,
interesting.
they end up spraying me with it, and I didn't do nothing. So I'm there.
They accidentally caught you with it, or kind of hit
Oh,
you
yeah.
on purpose?
Well, you could say either or. I want to say accidentally because it's more of a optimistic way of looking at it. I could be pessimistic and say, they did it on purpose, but that's negative.
Okay.
So anyway, they ended up spraying my whole body, so I'm butt naked and my nuts are covered in Black Jesus, and I'm screaming because his Mace's skull level's a million, and it's burning, and everything is, and it's just bad. And then we were told to lay on the ground, so I'm on the ground, butt naked, with my hands behind my back, my crotch is on fire, and my eyes are on fire.
Did they have you zip tied back there, handcuffed, or what?
No, they were too busy kicking that other guy to sleep right next to me.
So how were your hands behind your back?
Because that was the pose they told us to do. Get on the ground right now. Get on the ground in your chest with your hands behind your back. So everybody had to do that. And don't look at us. They didn't want you seeing what they were doing to the guy. So
Where was this?
This is at Orlando Reception Center.
Orlando Reception Center.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so go ahead. What's another good prison story?
Okay, so there's this thing that's going through the prison systems now called paper dope. What it is they spray synthetic marijuana onto sheets of paper, and they send it in the mail, and then when the inmates get it, they cut it into little strips and smoke it that way. They put it on headphone wires. They put it on the headphone wires and use a battery, and the tip in the center of the wire lights up red. Well, if you roll the dope around the wire, it starts to smoke, and you just take a straw and you hit it, and it's really potent. It's also known as K2, spice, whatever you want to call it. It's the same stuff they were selling at the stores.
So it's not actual THC.
No, it's illegal substance now. They outlawed it. But so the story I'm trying to tell about this is one guy thought he could handle it, and we refer to people who take too much and don't know what they're doing as twacking out. So this guy twacks out. He's a black gentleman, and it's an open bay dorm. And so he hits it a little too hard. Next thing you know, he strips off all his clothes, and he's running around the dorm naked, and he jumps on top of an empty bunk, and he's beating on it like he's a gorilla, and he's king of the jungle, and the guards come in, and they're like, and he's butt naked. I don't anyone want to touch him, and so they ended up tasing him. You know what I mean? Well, the taser hits him in the neck. It comes flying out and hits him right in the neck. And honestly, I don't even know, because I've never seen up to that point guards with tasers. They usually got Mace, And so they tase him, and then they just drag him, and they take him in the shower behind the wall, and they beat him to damn near death. And
these are the guards.
Yes. And then they drag him bloody out in handcuffs, 3 of them, took him out of the dorm unconscious. Another time, somebody was getting ready to EOS. That's end of sentence for the you that don't know. And they were doing a count, and we sit up on our bunks during count, and the guard said something to this inmate, and the inmate, when the guard turned his back to walk through to count the other side of the dormitory, the gentleman got up and hit the guard in the back of the head.
Was he
guy,
just wanted to stay in prison, you think?
You would think, yeah, that's probably the reason why. He only had like a week left to go before his sentence was over. You know, and there's another charge right there. That's even worse. It's battery on a service public
on a
servant.
corrections officer or something like that. Yeah.
And then not only that, but like now you just really incurred the wrath of DOC because you put your hands on a guard. They're like the biggest gang other than the police, and they swarmed him. So, another time, this kid when he was supposed to just go to prison, do a tier 1 program, which is a drug program, go back in front of the judge, and he would be done. Otherwise, he had 10 years. He had 10 years, right? So he had to do the program. The program was only a year, and he would be done with prison. Well, when he got to his year and he completed the program, the judge had retired. So he sent a letter to the court, and the court told him, well, we don't recognize any of that. That's the judge, and he's no longer on the bench. You know what I mean? Pretty much good luck to you. And he had 10 years now. And he's thinking he's going to go do 1 year. They put him at the work camp. So he gets to the work camp, and he escapes. And inmates are scrambling trying to catch him because he's running down the property. Because if you can catch him, you get time off. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like whack-a-mole, you know? So you always hope somebody's run so you can get a couple months or maybe possibly.
So I
years.
never heard that before. Let me get this straight. So if someone, let's say this is the work camp.
Yeah, this is a work camp.
So they got a bunch of inmates outside the facility.
Outside the gates, right? Yeah, because they're low custody.
And they're working.
Yeah.
So if somebody runs, the inmates chase them, and the one that catches them gets time off?
Well, that's the consensus of it. I've never really seen it, but that's, it's inmate.com kind of talk. It's not proven, but it's always in the, so.
All right, folks, stay tuned for more prison stories. We just had a kind of a loud interruption, so we're going to end this segment and come back for more. Thanks for tuning in.